that's not, in my personal opinion, that's not what martial arts is about. It's about getting information out to people that need it the most. Like that's the goal. So I want to thank Greg for having me again. Really excited when he asked me to come back. Just a disclaimer, who was here last time, I put out a memo to the city, no gun calls, no hostage calls, no nothing like that today, so that I don't have to leave like last time. So that was terrible. Anyway, so hopefully that the city listens to me on that memo that I sent out and I don't need to leave. But I let my team know about it today, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, so I don't really like talking about myself too much. Like all those accreditations are all like, that's great. 8 of my 11 years now has been in tactical operations. So basically what that does in the city is like we deal with all the priority one calls. So everything I go to now is like a weapons call, fight call, active resistant person, somebody chasing high risk canine tracks, dynamic entries, which means like smashing in doors, going in with guns drawn, taking guys down, all that stuff. So high stress, high level stuff, right? So, and it's cool because I love it. Like that's what I do, and it's cool. I can't really go back the other way. It would bother me if I did, because that's just how I live my life now, right? It keeps my wife on my toes. On her toes, should I say? Actually, on my back, actually. That's what I want to say. But what that's going to lead into, and what I want to talk about first, is kind of like the whole premise behind like a fight. So, how many people have actually? No, not. I'm kind of talking about competition fighting as well, but who've actually been in an active fight where you're like, oh crap, like I'm gonna get hurt, like this is bad. Right? It's okay if you haven't. Alright? So when you go back to like when that happened, and most people relate to it, is that as soon as you're in that moment, you instantly become weaker a little bit. Right? And some people say, oh no, like I'm a warrior, I go for it. I'm gonna say no, and I'll speak from personal experience. Like, no man, you're scared, it's fine, like it's good, that's part of being a human, all right? But being confident in your ability to be able to respond to the threat is the goal, right? And the only way you're gonna get that is by putting yourself through manufactured fights in here to manage that stress. Don't go and start fights and be like, here, I decided to like practice so maybe, right? Like I wanna pick it, but that's really the only way to manage that stress, because there's no other kind of stress like that. If somebody grabs onto you and is like gonna punch your face in, or grabs onto you, or threatens with a knife, or threatens with a weapon, it changes your mind, right? You're just like, okay, and that fight or flight comes in, and there's only one way to get the flight out of that is through training, consistent training, right? And I don't care like how many TED Talks you listen to, all that stuff, like it's not gonna change. You have to actually do it and feel it, right? So managing the stress. So my head instructor has this saying in California. He says like, we become calm in chaos. So when chaos happens, you just get this like blanket of calmness that comes over you, and you're just like, okay, like I've been here before, I've done this, I've seen it, let's just go. And that's basically how you have to be, because stress will make you do silly things, right? And with most martial arts, which I love all of them, is that we have all these fun techniques where we're like, okay, if I step here and I do this, and then I strike here, and then I move to this side, and then yeah, and boom, they go down to the ground, all right, high five. But in an actual fight, it's really dirty, and like angles are wrong. It's like, hey, you didn't punch me the right way that you did it every time in class, or like somebody just starts like raking your eyes, or like I've never seen that before. We see that in BJJ when like white belts come in and they start like finger locking you and stuff like that. You're like, what are you doing? That's not what we do here, right? But in the street, like they're gonna do that stuff, right? They're gonna kick dirt in your face. They're gonna like spit at you. They're gonna throw beer on you. They're gonna like people like urinate on you. Like that happens, right? And that changes your mindset too. So when I'm trying to bring all that in, what I mean is like create a will to fight, right? And it's either in you or it isn't. And if it's not, then you need to instill it in you. And you can do that in many different ways, right? Women, it's easier, I find, because I say think about your kids. Like somebody actively trying to take your children away. Like what are you gonna do? Guys are the same, hopefully for the most part, right? But like, is that you have to tap into this like Gemini person. Like you're a polar opposite. We're all good people in this room, from what I can gather. I know most of you. and they're all law-abiding citizens, all that fun stuff, and we're good. That's what's natural for us, to be good. But when something happens, like you need to, and you know that it's like, this is the fight, this is when it's gonna happen, my mind frame has to change completely. I have to become the polar opposite of what I am, and just be like savage and attack and go. And then as soon as that threat is over, then I flip back to that person. I'm like, okay, like even render help to that person after you've smashed them apart. I'm good with that. I teach our students that all the time, right? Yeah, end the threat. And when I say end it, I don't mean like kill it. I mean like severely injure it to the point depending on, or just end it out of the way that I'm away. And if it's not, and I've maybe gone to the fact that I've gone a little overboard, I've had to go that way, then I'm like, hey, like call an ambulance, this and that, stay there. Because when police Ryan comes down the road, it's just like, oh, what happened? Like you didn't start it, but you finished it very violently. Cool, high five. But it'll depend on what the legalities are after that, which is a huge piece that we never talk about in martial arts all the time, is that like some schools do a really good job about it, not too many. Especially Krav Maga schools would be like, yeah, smash, blah, 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 like, kick him in the head, run away, like, yeah, like, yeah, cool, but then when you have to explain yourself afterwards, like, that's the problem, right? So, like, I tend to pride ourselves on our gym is to make sure that I'm giving the legalities to the students and making sure that they understand. And I'm gonna frustrate a lot of people when I say this, but in Canada, in the States it's different, but in Canada, if, I borrow you for a second, Sheehan. So, if me and Sheehan decide to fight, right? So he's put his hands up and I've decided to go, okay, I've consented now. I've consented to that fight. Whether he's put his fist up first or not, and I'm just like, okay, I've consented, so we're good. Nobody's getting charged for assault here, whether he started it or not. No problem. Even if he comes in and grabs me, and I've won here and here, we've consented. I'm still defending myself, right? You have every right to do that under the law, but we've consented to the fight, right? So if I smash him, break his orbital bone and all this, I'm the one that's gonna have to answer for it. Unfortunately. Welcome to Canada. Right? So thank you. So yeah, every time I say that in a seminar, people are like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way like this. And yeah, unfortunately, yes. Right? But I didn't pick it, I didn't start it, and that's yes. So we need to make sure that we take all the natural steps to make sure that we don't, and if you do get in trouble, right? Yeah, okay, you're not gonna stay in jail unless you're a bad person anyways. They're gonna release you, you go to the thing, and then that's all gonna play out as long as you've taken the steps that you've done, right? But this is the joy of the job, right? So I'm governed by 2 criminal codes. I'm governed by the Criminal Code of Canada and the Police Services Act, so I can get charged double if I beat somebody up, right? And if I can't articulate it properly, that's the goal, all right? So I have to articulate my actions, why I did what I did, and why is the amount of force that I used, right? And I get arguments from security teams, companies, all these people say, yeah, come in and teach me that. Well, you know, don't teach them how to punch, don't teach them how to do this, because like we're not allowed to do that. Or security teams is like, oh, we have a no hands-on policy. Then what are you doing? Right? Then what are you doing? You're taking notes and calling somebody and like, yeah, cool, but no, I'm not allowed to touch them. Well, frig man, as a regular citizen can do a citizen's arrest. That is a real thing, by the way, as long as it's lawful, right? So I can't be like, well, that guy looks like he's doing something bad, and then you grab him and tar from the ground and I arrested him. Okay, well, what are your grounds? Right? Like, what was he doing? So, does that make sense to everybody? Like, when I'm saying that, I know the consent thing's probably like, that doesn't make sense to me, but unfortunately, it is what it is, all right? You have every right to defend yourself, but you've consented under the law, right? Yes.
So, how do you defend yourself with consent?
I don't even know if there's such a thing. So here's the thing. So you. That's a good question, though, right? So you come up and you say, you know what? I'm gonna punch your face in this, man. Leave me alone. This and that, blah blah. And I just walk away from the fight, right? I use my verbal jiu-jitsu, as some people say, right? Like, you don't want to do that. And that kind of will lead into my next topic. What I'm going to talk about is that that's a great question, and I get it all the time from people that I'm arresting, right? Or they. It's not so much that I'm arresting them; it's that where people are just like, well, it's not fair. Like, I want him charged because he grabbed me first, and this and that, right? Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. He did do that. He started this fight. And I always tell people, so I should just get beat up. No. No. But as soon as you've engaged and actively defended yourself, which is 100% okay to do, depending on the level of force you use, right? There's this, we don't have it in here, that great little use of force wheel that everybody sees in their workplaces if you work in a law and security thing, and it tells you like the situation and all that stuff, right? That's what governs everyone, right? Of what type of force we can use for the situation, right? So it's always like, what's reasonable? What would Joe Citizen say that I walk up and somebody like grabs my arm and I just instantly start hammer fisting the crap out of this person and kick them in the head and stuff, like, was that reasonable? No, right? But if they grabbed me and then tried to access a weapon and then I did that, would it be reasonable? Yeah, sure, right? Because then I'm facing grievous bodily harm or death. So I'm not here to like play the whole use of force wheel on everybody, but it is important to know your legalities, right? So yeah, somebody starts it, I back away. There's no way that I can back away from that fight, so now I have to engage in the fight. So yes, unfortunately, now I've consented, right? And now that I've consented, I better freaking win, right? Or at least win in a way of get away that I can get away and be unsaved as much as possible. And hurt them, but not severely injure them, because the way that the law works is that I can consent to a fight, but I can't consent to an injury. Injury that's transient in nature, right? So broken nose, broken orbital bone, fractured skull, yeah, you're gonna be in big trouble, unfortunately, for the time being. And then when it comes out, I did this to avoid it, I did this, there's multiple witnesses that saw me, I didn't want to fight, this and that, and then he grabbed me, I defended myself. You're cool when that happens, right? You still may need to go through the process, which is crappy, but again, in Canada, right? We're in the US, if somebody threatens me, bang, here are my bullets, and then you're good, right? Stand your ground law. Ain't never gonna happen here, unfortunately. Alright, we love each other too much in Canada. So, which is a good thing, I don't want that. Alright? So what leads into the question is, how do I do that, right? So there's 3 steps that's really important for everybody to understand, is that any situation that I come into, I'm situationally aware of what's going on, and that's where like we've really fallen off the deep end here in this world, is that we're always on our phone, looking down, texting, this and that. Hoods are up, earbuds are in, those wireless earbuds and stuff. Like I'm taking away all my auditory systems, right? To see like what is going on around me. And then you're detrimenting and like really jeopardizing your safety by that kind of stuff. Is it ever gonna go away? No, like I need my cell phone, right? But I need to pick when and where I'm on it, and how much I'm on it, and where I'm going and know where I'm at, right? Cell phone's a great safety tool to alert people, right? The authorities, where I'm at, GPS tracking, all that stuff, right? So I think there's 2 really good ways to that. But I need to be situationally aware, so I'm gonna use my head, I'm gonna use my words, and then when all else fails, I go hands-on, right? So if I can just avoid the fight altogether, somebody that's just like yelling, screaming, carrying on, you can probably think of 1,000 times if you ever walk downtown Kingston of all these people yelling, screaming on the side of the road, right? You can either cross the road, that's cool. If you can't cross the road, what I suggest is that, and I do this in our women's seminars, is that if I'm passing that person, I don't do what most people do, and I watch them do this all the time, is I just like look away from that person that I don't want to look at, right? It's the worst friggin' thing you can do, right? I want to look at that person, right? Brooke, you're my crazy person, you know? Right, yeah. So I'm just staring at them like, what are they doing, this and that, and then once I pass them, I keep going, right? But I always monitor what's going on. If something's wrong, you feel that, right? Like something's wrong. It shouldn't be that I shy away from what's wrong. I'm just like, hey, no, something's wrong over here, I'm addressing it. Doesn't mean that I'm walking into it, but I'm addressing it, and the fact that I see it, I identify it, okay, that's an issue. Do I want to get involved in that or no? Do I need to get involved in that or no? Okay, no, I don't. There you go. Right, so there's my avoidance, right? Avoiding something. Somebody at a distance away from Greg and I, and he's like, hey, you, yeah, hey man, what's up? Just keep going, right? But I never take my eyes off him. Who's gone down south before? Right? How many times do people are like walking down the beach, hey brother, like, yeah, come over here, I'm gonna sell you my sea cells, or whatever he wants to sell you, right? I never go near those guys. I'm sure they're like nice, right? But then 4 of their friends are like waiting behind, right? And they're just like, oh yeah, okay, that guy's behind the show. Like you watch them, and they all start coming out of the woodworks, right? Right? And then sometimes, like I had a close call one time, and make, it was like not good. But same thing, right? Like I got caught in this corner because my wife wanted to buy something, and then they're all like, I was like, oh no, I had him first with this, and I got really heated, right? Where we could have just like, no, I'm good. Just kept going, right? So an example of avoidance, right? If I can't avoid and I'm stuck in a room with this person, then I start talking to them, right? My hands are up in a defensive manner, not this, and I'm saying like, listen, like, I don't want to fight, you don't want to do this and that. My negotiation skills start happening, right? If you don't have that, then start working on that, right? Avoiding it is if you don't want to do that, this, that, whatever. 9 times out of 10, if all else fails, you've made that, college try to avoid, and it just happens, which sometimes people, they just want to beat you up, then it's go time, right? And then I deal with that. Does that make sense to everybody? Kind of how I want to, again, speed through, because there's so much that we got to do that I don't want to take too much time on, but this is like the most important piece, is like self-defense is like a last resort. Yes?
You said you keep an eye on them. Does that mean you make eye contact?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because I'll tell you from personal experience that most people, I had a security guy ask me the other day, he was just like, oh, like I had to deal with this guy with tattoos all over his face and his neck, his hands, and he was like really scary looking, and he was just like acting all weird, and like I was just like, I didn't know what to do, like whether to approach him or not. And I'm like, I can tell you from experience is that those type of people are the biggest cowards ever, literally. They look scary because they're trying to hide something. All right. Again, from personal experience, like I've dealt with gangbangers from Toronto, like done lots of JFOs with ETF in Toronto, done tons of gang cartel doors, like Mexican guys like this, and I like we deal with that stuff. Not as much in Kingston, but unfortunately, it's really, really growing here rapidly. That kind of stuff. I'm sure everybody's seen the news lately with all the stuff that's been going on, like guns coming through. So like it's coming this way, and it's already kind of like embedding itself here. So. But I'm like, that stuff is like, yeah, like, it's just a mask, right? Most people are not. But yeah, as soon as I give them that eye contact, they know I'm not scared. And that freaks them out, right? It'll at least change their mind, right? To say like, okay, like, I'm not gonna tolerate your shit without saying, I'm not gonna tolerate your shit. And then when they come, then again, like, every time I've gone into something that's been combative or started off that way, it's always been like, okay, in my case, I can't do the avoidance part, right? I can't just walk away and be like, okay, you're crazy and you're yelling at people and you're like, nah, that's it, right? I can't do that. It would be sweet if I could, because I'd be like, yeah, like I've had enough, like I'm good, I don't want to do this.
They're crazy today, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm full of my crazy, but I can't do that, right? So I really have to work on that negotiation, right? And being like, listen, man, like you gotta leave. No, fuck you. Okay, well, no, like you gotta go. And we had that talk with Chad Lyman when we were doing a course with him, one of his Canadian ones. There'll be more, by the way, because there's a course coming up soon. So I was the first. Is how I'm gonna market it. But he used to say like, are you gonna leave? No. Please? No. Please, please leave. Like, no, like, okay, that's my ding ding. Like, I have to do something now, right? And I know I'm putting an LEO spin on this, but I find ways to get around that. Like, what can I do to change your mind? That's my goal all the time. I always do that. Is there anything that I can say to you that can change your mind from engaging in this fight or me having to go hands on? Because you will be arrested. I will take control of you. You will come with me. And that's basically how I say it. You will do this. Whether you like it or not, is it an easy way or a hard way? How do you want to do this? 9 times out of 10, people are like, okay, and then they leave. Or they're like, okay, fine, and there's not a fight. It's the 1% of crazy, and I'm being opinionated here, right? So I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings if I talk. My police talk comes out every now and then. But like 1% of crazy, that just they're like so out there that they're like, I don't even care, like I want to go, I want to attack you, I want to take it. And it's like, okay, all right, let's do that. Right? But I'm good with it now. When I first started, I was like, I would resort to just hit, right? But now I'm just like, okay, that's what you want to do. Let's go. And then we do it. And then they lose, they get arrested, and they go, right? And that's how it works, right? But the mind of avoidance, the words, 9 times out of 10, those will work, as long as you get really good at them. And then hands on to the last one, all right? Does that make sense to everybody? I know that's kind of like it's more the law enforcement side of things, but it works in the civilian too. Like literally, like you can avoid stuff altogether. Like don't be a vigilante, right? Like nobody's Batman. It's cool. Like if you see something wrong, like what we're trying to do in our school is build like community leaders. Like that's what I always say to like my students. I'm like, I don't want you to be the one sitting back on your cell phone while somebody's getting hurt, right? And be like, well, I'm gonna get video of this. It drives me absolutely crazy, right? But that's what society has become. I don't want to get involved in that because I don't want to get in trouble, right? So I'm just going to do this. No. Help your fellow person. Like how many police officers are sitting on the ground and people are just like, what do you do? Right? While they get jumped on, right? Like, and it's insane. Like, and it's not just here, but everywhere. Like, I want people to take action. And I don't mean, again, Batman, vigilante beating the crap out of people with this, but render help if help is needed. We need to change our lane from being me to like let's look after each other, right? So that's kind of the whole goal. It's where this vehicle of martial arts can help us change that. And that's the ultimate goal. Cool. All right, awesome. I'm gonna stop talking. This way at least we're gonna do some instructions. So let's get up. Let's move around a little bit.